today we're going to do a project using pointillism. Pointillism is a type of art technique that uses little dots to fill the spaces in your picture instead of coloring in a space fully. Pointillism started in the late 1800s, and it was mainly used by an artist named Georges Seurat, and he was very interested in how science affects how people see color. And so he wanted to show color by using dots with pure colors side by side. He did not mix any colors together. He wanted to let your eye and your brain mix the colors together. So we're going to do a project using pointillism, and let me show you some of the materials that you'll need. I'm going to show you using watercolor. You can use a watercolor pan that you might get from Walmart or the Dollar Tree. I have one that has a little bit more color that came from Dollar General that I'm going to use. You'll need a cup of water. You'll need a paintbrush. And you're going to need Q-tips. This is the utensil that we're going to use to make the dots on our drawing. You also need a piece of paper, and I already drew an image of a flower on my paper. I'm going to let you choose any image that you would like to draw. You could do a landscape, an animal, a portrait. Just make sure it fills the page. You can use any material to draw with. You can use crayons, pencil. I used markers. Just make sure that you fill the page, but don't color in your areas. That's going to be the job of the dots. All right, so let's get started. The first thing you need to do is choose your color to start with, and you're going to use a paintbrush to just get the watercolor wet. So you know that watercolor needs water to work, so I'm going to choose, I think I'm going to choose purple, and I'm going to just swirl some water on the purple pan, and then I'll put my brush in the cup to wet. Then I'm going to get a Q-tip. Dip the end of the Q-tip in the water, and then swirl the Q-tip into the wet watercolor. And then what you're going to do is you're going to want to press down with the end of the Q-tip to form a dot. And there's the first dot. You don't want to slide it to make a line or a stroke like you would with a paintbrush. You want to make a dot. Now you're just going to keep moving around your area that you chose. I'm starting with the center of the flower. If it starts to get too dry, dip your Q-tip back in the water and back into the paint pan. I like to make the shape of whatever it is that I am filling in. So I'm going to go around in a circle on my flower, and I'm going to just do dots all the way around. And then I'm going to start filling in the middle with another row of dots. Now, you do not have to do it just like this. You can do random dots that go around, and so they're filling up the space. Or you can do lines that are just going across, or vertical lines. Either way you want to do it. Every artist is a little bit different, and that is the great thing about art, that nobody does everything exactly the same. We want to have some creativity. So notice as I think that my Q-tip is getting dry, I'm just dipping it carefully into the water, just the end of it. I'm not going to soak the whole Q-tip, just the tip of it. And I'm starting to fill it up with the purple that I chose. Now, if I want my purple to be a slightly different purple, I'm going to add some colored dots on top of what I already did. Now, I used purple on this end, so the good thing about a Q-tip is I can turn it over and make another color on the other side. But first, let's see, I'm going to choose my color. I'm going to make sure I clean off that purple, the first purple on my paintbrush, and then I think I'm going to add a little bit of pink to it to maybe brighten up the purple in the middle of the flower. So I'm just going to get it nice and wet with the paintbrush first. That's just because the Q-tip's made out of cotton, and it might get some of the cotton into the paint when it's dry. So I start with a paintbrush. So I'm going to dip it in, the end of the Q-tip into the water, swirl it into the pink, and now I'm going to go back through and I'm going to add pink dots right beside the purple dots. They're going on top of the purple dots. That's perfectly all right. but the purple and the pink are not mixing together. The paint's not mixing together. But when you look at a distance, the color will look like one color instead of two colors all together. And I'm going to just keep going until I fill in the middle. I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing because I think you probably get the idea, but I would just keep going to fill in each of the petals, and you can't forget the background. Make sure that you have a nice background to fill up the space. Now the type of paper you can use, I'm using just a drawing paper, but you could use paper from the copier, from the printer that you might have at home. There's lots of different types of paper. You could do it on the construction paper. You might have some colorful construction paper at home. And you can do it even on notebook paper if you don't have any white solid paper. And so there is the center of my flower, and I would keep going until I filled it up. I'm going to show you one that's already finished that I did earlier. That's a landscape, and so you can see how the whole picture is made up of dots, and the colors that you choose to put side by side makes the viewer, the person who's looking at the artwork, see certain colors. And everybody might see something a little bit different because everybody's eyes are different, just like art's different from everything. Now, if you do not have paint at home, you can do this project with markers. So here's just a little piece of paper pulled from a sketchbook, and there's Remy, my cat, and I just, instead of coloring in with markers, I just did dots with the tip of the marker to fill in the space. That is very tedious, but it does make for an interesting and different piece of artwork. All right, so this is how you can create pointillism at home, just like the artist Georges Seurat, and I hope you have fun creating it, and I can't wait to see your artwork.